Hi everyone, welcome to the channel once again. I hope you're doing well. So today we have the guitar that started my real journey on this DIY kits and even my collaboration sort of thing with Coban guitars. So I'm here with Peter. He's there hiding. You can see him on one of the cameras. And I was telling you about the Eastman that I wanted to buy to then paint. So take the flame maple top 900-pound guitar and then paint it myself, because I've had such good experiences with spray painting as an experienced painter and overall DIY guy. Flawless work, I would say, most of the time. And you're like, well, why don't you try these kits? Little did I know that you were scheming behind my back at the time and you were building this guitar. Not exactly this guitar as it is now, because it has had some mods and some changes, but this kit guitar. So this is like an SG, right?
Yep.
Pretty similar, because even the horns are symmetrical. Some of the copies that are around aren't. It came with gold hardware, black fittings.
Yes, black pickup rings.
Yeah. And the pick guards.
Yeah, as is.
As is. So you did it all. You assembled it all. What did you use to paint it?
So there was the crimson, vibrant blood orange stain. So it's not quite as deep as the cherry red that you normally see red SGs, but I think it gives it quite a nice, just light orange finish, just a little bit lighter than a dark mahogany.
Yeah.
On top of the spalted maple veneer.
That's it. So it's not just the solid color, the cherry solid color that you often see.
Nope.
And it's not a veneer hiding how many pieces it has as well. Did you see how many pieces it has actually?
The back should show you.
2?
Possibly. Yeah, I'd say 2 looks like a good...
Yeah, there's no smaller pieces hiding. Sometimes you can see it here more easily. But yeah, I think it's a 2-piece mahogany body, mahogany neck. The neck has its 3 pieces, like there's a scarf joint, the neck in itself, and then just the butt here. Even the headstock, it's the whole one, because Gibson tends to have the wings glued on. Glued neck, so set neck,
Yep.
right? That you even not struggle, but you could do it with another clamp, but you didn't want to tell me.
Yes.
Because I have your clamp. It's there. But and to finish it all off, nitro, right?
Yep. Rattle can nitro finish.
So
Just taken up to a semi-gloss, not I could have gone a few more layers and then done a full gloss, but I quite like the semi-gloss.
and a little grain filler before everything else, right?
Yes, yeah. Rustins, rub-on, grain filler.
Yeah. So after you've done like the first run of the guitar, you sent me a picture of like, oh, what do you think of this guitar? And it's like, that's a kit because of the headstock. It's like when how could it come? Because we played and we went to play pool and everything, and you just like zip, nothing. I wouldn't be able to. I can't keep my mouth shut for a minute, but I was really impressed because the neck feels really nice, like a full neck. It's not overwhelming or anything, but it's a nice, comfortable C-shaped neck. Bone nut, ebony board, trapezoids. This is trapezoid inlays, which is like not quite mod. It's mother of pearl. What you call this, pearloid?
Probably like a pearloid.
Yeah.
It's not abalone, but
That's it. Not a balloon, but probably like closer
I
to.
think abalone tends to have the greens and blues.
That's it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, right. And that was the day that I went online and looked at the semi-hollow that then I built. So this is the
It
guitar.
was actually the day before, a couple of days before, I sent you the picture of the guitar. I was round at yours and mentioned about the kit guitar, and I actually showed you Coban guitars and said, look,
Yes.
these guitars.
Exactly.
£200 instead of 9.
That's it. Because the problem with kit guitars often is that we don't know where to go. There's a few different places selling them, and the quality varies. And I heard that some were just basically firewood. You have to strip everything, or you could use the wood bits, but everything else had to go in the bin. And then, how much was this? Like $169, or was that before the 10% off?
I think that was before the 10% off.
So
it was a bit cheaper.
like £150,
Yeah.
something along those lines, right? Which they're still doing, by the way. So I had that idea, like the tuners need to go away, the bridge, the pickups, the electronics, everything. They also, I don't know if you mentioned that first time around that it had soldierless electronics, which I don't think you did that time around, but
Yeah, I don't remember.
it has soldierless electronics, and often people like snub at it and think that it's a bit of a cop out, a cheap alternative, but it's way easier.
Yep.
Because once you're done with the guitar and once you've done with the electronic of like the finishing and making sure that everything is as you like it, you assemble everything and you put the pickups on, it's just like boop, 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 boop. Done.
Yep.
Something's wrong. And pull by the connector, not by the cable.
Yeah.
Pull by the connector, which sometimes can be a bit tight, and we put it back on again. No, like, oh, here we go again. Turn on the solder iron, wait a little bit, get the flux, and then it gets the flux in the hands.
And then drip solder onto your nicely finished guitar. And
Yes. We've all been there. Even if it's just like modding, it's like we can solder stuff. It's just if I don't have to, I'd rather not and just enjoy for what it is. So when I played it, I was impressed by the specs. I was impressed by the feel. I was even impressed by the sound, although it was like 10 p.m. and the kids were asleep. But I was like, oh, it sounds good. So I went ahead and I bought the 335. So let's just hear how this one. So before we hear it, because this is not
not as it came.
exactly.
Quite.
So why is it like this at the moment?
So, to keep a long story short, I butchered the pickups that were in the guitar. Yeah, they're dead now.
You tortured them until they died.
Yeah. It was an attempt at potting because they were gold covered pickups, humbuckers. It was an attempt at potting the cupboard.
To be fair, they were a bit microphonic. And we
Yeah,
had just
yeah,
been
yeah.
talking about like the East Coast guitar that I have that is a bit microphonic as well, and probably
Yeah,
we're on that
yeah.
line of trying to try things.
And I went a bit too far, killed the neck pickup, and the bridge still works, but yeah, anyway. So, we have a P90 in the neck position there, and a humbucker hybrid rail and pole piece humbucker in the bridge there.
And tell me, Peter, why did you go with such a fine selection of pickups that are such non-traditional options? Was it because the tone, maybe the high-quality components that make
To be fair,
probably as well those things?
P90s on a Gibson SG is fairly standard, classic.
Tony Iommi and stuff.
Yeah.
Tony?
Tony?
Tony.
Yeah. And also humbuckers as well, more modern SGs, you get humbuckers. The thing that sort of threw me towards those particular pickups is the bridge pickup there is about £3
In weight?
in cost.
In cost? So that's so for the American friends watching this, that's like $4.
$4 or $5,
$5,
something like that. And the P90 pickup there, the humbucker size P90, is about £10 roughly in
Really?
price. Yeah.
Ah, right, so it was more expensive than the
Yes.
bridge one.
Yeah. Together they came as a set. The P90s were £21 something
right.
delivered.
So still a bit more expensive, but still, that's all in all half of what a full set of even an iron gear.
Yeah.
It's similar to like Benson is, but you couldn't get this combination of pickups really anywhere else. So let's hear it. It's gonna be me playing. So any reflection on how it sounds probably is not the guitar's fault. It's really mine. As well, just because I was gonna play, you left the neck.
Yes. So I don't particularly like glossy necks. So we've got an oil finish just to a satin finish on the neck. That's the Crimson finishing oils.
So it's not fully raw as well. This wasn't sure now what it was. Yeah, the oil.
You might have noticed on the headstock as well. There's a cheap knockoff of a string butler.
The guys that design string butler must be like, oh, we made this thing. It cost us this much to mill it, and the Chinese were like, great idea, mate. I'm gonna take it. But yeah, it's an interesting piece of
equipment.
Yeah,
Because it just pulls
yeah. The
higher up.
main issue with the 3x3 necks is obviously they go off to the side.
Yeah, even if you had to cut this bit here, the position is still there.
That string tensioner just keeps it all in the middle.
Yeah, and it's like rounded, so there's no. Because sometimes it could say, oh, but
Yeah, and
like,
they're rollers as well. So
so they're rollers actually.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, like more things that you add to create friction,
Yeah.
to create pinging, and the nut being bone. And this one actually seems to be.
I did lower the nut.
You lowered the nut.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that has been my experience with these kits, with the Coban kits, is that the nut needs a bit of work, the fret needs a bit of work, although this one doesn't need much. But so this is just clean.
So let's go to the neck. Starting this video, and you're saying that this is 7 something K,
7.4, 7.8 ohms,
and the bridge
just over 10, 10 and a half.
So it's not like overwhelmingly hot.
Yeah.
It just sounds a bit more like the neck has like that hollow natural, and on the bridge will be brighter. But it doesn't like turn it immediately into an overdriven channel or a distortion, because it was what I was thinking when I looked at it. It's like, oh, alright, you want more like cleans on the neck, party on down the bridge. But so if we put a tube screamer, one neck, this has too much reverb for this sort of tone. Also, it has a 50s wiring sort of thing, because when you turn on the neck down, it doesn't play anything in the middle. So some people like that. You might not like that, but yeah. So overall, so this is the guitar that started out, and now I'm working with Coban. Really? So why is this making a noise? The signal goes through. Okay. So now I'm sort of working with Coban, right? I have that guitar there, the Les Paul, the second one, because I was so into it that I emailed them and asked, like, can you give me a guitar and everything. So yours was also spalted maple, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But completely different looking
Yeah.
than this, even in terms of the middle figure. Yours has more of like that typical almost burl bit in the middle, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And this one has a different look. So that's why Mark at Coban says if you're gonna order a spalted maple guitar to give them a ring or email or something, and just ask to see a picture of a few different models, because or I might be looking for something like, oh, I want like a middle feature or some more granular, or something to, for example, here had a bunch of little bits that now it's hard to see because of the green, but you know, it's a good idea to do that. I do think this neck is slightly different as well. It also has the 50s wiring, you see. In terms of size, Obviously, I finish it differently. I put gloss on the back, which it's a thing that you can do with this sort of things.
That's it.
And
I know
even
you want it.
exactly, and you even helped me with the headstock because I had not only broken it at some point, but also it was wonky, wasn't it? It wasn't like symmetrical. So so you were here. I was working on the body, working on the neck, which is also a feature of Kit Guitars. It's a multiplayer game. You can do it with friends. Just need to find friends that live next door, probably, and convince them to help you get full of dust and polish material and like whole things. But yeah, really cool stuff. Thank you so much for showing me the finished product. It's I think it turned out really well. There was some like even instability in the beginning when the first times that we were playing on the neck, and that sort of like settled itself. I found the same with mine. It takes like, I don't know, maybe it's the glue adjusting or the woods and the temperature and the materials on top and things like that. But now it feels as solid as any other guitar that we own. And I think it sort of created a little bit of the bug in you as well, because you're finished now your Yamaha, which might be a subject for another video, but it's a fun thing to do.
It is, yeah. It's a while since I've done anything like it, so...
Yeah. And you were, like I told you before, you were the guy that, when you were still living in the other house, and you were stripping the Strat, I was like, oh, this is interesting, and then I started doing it as well, so I'm just like a copycat. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was enjoyable and fun for you to see. For us, it's just really an opportunity to put to tape, to SD cards in our case, the conversation that we often have. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye.